What's up, everyone? Jason Gelbo here with Rob Mazaika, taking a look at tonight's 9-game slate, breaking down injury news and value. Great slate tonight, a lot of high totals. We got 3 over 220 right off the bat. Obviously, one includes your, Indiana Pacers and Brooklyn teams. So, always fun there, and I know you love that game.
Yeah, whenever Brooklyn's playing, I just love to target players against them and players for Brooklyn too, because they're all priced pretty cheap and they get 25 minutes apiece, so they're always good values. There's some good tournaments tonight. FanDuel's got their big slam. $3 tournament's kind of nice. Some qualifiers going, so it's a great night for NBA.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, great slate. I mean, I can't really narrow in a game that I'm not really on. Everyone's kind of got something going. I think OKC Memphis is probably the one the least on, but I do like, Conley there.
Yeah, there's some guys in every game to look at. Like you said, the OKC Memphis game that's probably the one I'm least on too. I have a little interest in Conley and then some interest in Westbrook to be contrarian, but that's about it.
Yeah, definitely. And moving right into the point guards, obviously, with the injury news, we got a couple guys that are questionable. Manuel Mudiay, we saw Jameer Nelson get ejected last time out, but obviously he would be the guy who would pick up 30-plus minutes.
Yeah, if Mudiay is out again, I have a lot of interest in Nelson. He got ejected last time out after, 4 minutes into the game? But before that, he's been putting up 5x's value his last 4 games, and there's no reason why he wouldn't do it again against a terrible Milwaukee team.
Yeah, definitely. And, also, if he does end up playing, Deron Williams on the doubtful side, that just means we get Yogi Ferrell at, a similar price tag, who's really done a great job kind of filling in, especially in his fantasy production.
Yeah, they're the same price on FanDuel, and they have about the same matchup. Lower's not the best defender either. If I had to choose, I think I would choose Nelson just because he's at home. But that's just me.
Yeah, I think so too. Obviously going on the road, especially with that backcourt, it seems to be a little bit, we get those big Curry nights, also Wes Matthews. It seems to kind of take away from one another.
Yeah, definitely.
So as far as the mid-range goes, I think my favorite value, D'Angelo Russell, below 6K on DraftKings, just 6,100 on FanDuel. Great matchup against Boston here. Isaiah Thomas, obviously great scorer, not a good defender. I think he's my favorite kind of correlation piece in that game.
Yeah, stacking him and Thomas is a pretty good option tonight. Since coming back from injury, these last 2 games, he's had over 40 fantasy points both games. Back to playing his normal 30 minutes. He's looked great, D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, and we get him before that price tag comes up because it will come up soon.
Yep. The only concern is that they're on a back-to-back tonight, but he's still in a good spot and in a fast-paced game against Boston.
Yeah, definitely. And outside of that, in that range, not really on Patrick Beverley. Aaron Collis, I know he's had a couple of big upside games, but a couple back-to-back duds as well. I'm kind of off that backcourt right now.
I am too. Another guy I have interest in that Celtics-Lakers game, though, is I have a little interest in Marcus Smart. His price is starting to get, he's 5,700, so it's getting high. But if this matchup stays close, I expect pretty much everyone on both teams to hit their values. So a nice game stack is not out of the picture tonight.
Yeah, definitely. With Avery Bradley, on the doubtful side again. So Smart's been kind of the big beneficiary. Definitely don't mind him. Outside of that, the mid-range there, you have Elfrid Payton, Ricky Rubio, Jeff Teague, Conley as well. I think Conley, Teague, and probably Payton in a GPP are kind of my favorite go-to options there.
Same here, but Teague's my guy tonight. I love targeting players against the Nets. We all know it by now, and I'm probably all in Jeff Teague.
Yeah, we've seen a good amount of upside, especially in those games. In 3 games against Brooklyn, he's averaged 11, 6, and 10. So definitely a stud guy there to target. You and I Isaiah Thomas, is there no one else to really go and pay up for?
Yeah, if I'm paying all the way up, it's Thomas. I like Westbrook just because he always brings crazy upside. He's pretty much matchup proof. But this matchup for Thomas, if it stays close, Mr. Fourth Quarter, I'm crazy. I called a 50 burger on the article tonight. It's my bold call tonight, but I think he could do it.
We get the televised game against a rival. It just seems like it's going to set up perfectly.
Yeah, it's a perfect storm, and like I said, if he scores 50, it'll be great.
If DeRozan's out, Kyle Lowry's another guy you can toss in again.
Yeah, only if DeRozan's out though. His price is way too high to play with both of them in.
Yeah, definitely. And I think outside that, Lillard, Bledsoe, are guys that I'm not really on tonight.
Same here.
Moving on to shooting guard, I mean, you got a couple of elite options. James Harden in a losing performance coming off a huge game. I don't mind him again tonight in building around him, even at a high price tag.
I don't mind him either. He's proven to play well in back-to-backs as well throughout his career, and I think he's going to get up for this game against Chicago because really no one really likes playing Chicago in the league. No teams like Chicago, and they all want to beat him. And coming off that loss last night, he's going to want to carry his team to victory.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I mean, I think I'm not really on Houston, as a whole team, but I think Harden's just kind of the easiest guy to look at and plug in.
Yeah, he always has potential to be the highest scorer in the night.
Yeah, it definitely does. And obviously Greek Freak below him, great swerve. I like that Denver-Milwaukee game quite a bit, and he's my favorite piece from that Milwaukee side.
Same here. I like that Denver-Milwaukee game, just below that Nets game, but they both should carry very high totals.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, he's always a good swerve. And we haven't really seen like his name kind of thrown out as a high ceiling guy of late, and I think we can actually get that tonight.
It's definitely possible against Denver.
Yeah, definitely. As far as the mid-range goes, I like Dwayne Wade more on DK, but I think him and Booker are great GPP plays because, one, good spot there. I think Booker's got some decent upside. Wade, obviously, if he can get 30 minutes or so, there's definitely some reasonable upside. We've seen it, especially if he can add those defensive stats.
I like Wade more for tournaments just because he's probably going to be lower owned, and he's higher priced, so you want more out of him. But he's been playing great. I mean, over 40 fantasy points in 4 of his last 6 games. It's a good matchup against Houston. He's probably going to get James Harden's defense. It's a good spot for Wade.
Yeah, I like him, and I think, there are some cheaper guys, which is why I'm not really looking that way in cash. I'd rather pay up or pay down.
Same here. Some other cheaper guys. I like Gary Harris, especially if Will Barton's out. Gallinari is already out, and if Moutier is out, Gary Harris is going to be locked in for at least 30 minutes tonight, and he's a cheap price on both sides.
Yeah, I like him as well. And I don't mind Jamal Murray if all those guys are out either, just because he will see 25 minutes or so. I like him more on DK because he's actually shooting guard eligible.
Yeah, there's a lot of point guards tonight, so if you can get as many as you can in there, it's a good play.
Yeah, definitely. And, a couple guys in that Indiana-Brooklyn game I know that you like. Do you like them here for value?
I like Kilpatrick. He's very volatile. He could get 15 minutes, but he also can get 25 to 30 minutes in a game. It's very tough to predict with their new coach. In this matchup against Indiana, he's had some big games against them this season. He had over 30 fantasy points on FanDuel last time they played, and if he plays over 25 minutes, I think he can definitely hit that again.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Indiana's not a scary defense like they were in the past. I don't mind him. And I think, they're good squares if you need to kind of go down to get that extra cash because really I'm just kind of looking at the Dallas backcourt for the mid-range options in that shooting guard position.
Yeah, same here. Both Curry and Matthews are guys I'm interested in. But Kilpatrick, he brings honestly the highest upside of any value play tonight on at the position. Just because he's only 3,800, but we've seen him put up 40 fantasy point games before, and that's a huge return on his investment.
I think so, especially because those guys are now priced up higher, like Powell and Curry, Smart on DK. Those guys are priced up near 6K now.
Yeah, so Kilpatrick's a great pivot to go into those guys.
Certainly. Anyone else there at shooting guard?
That's all I have.
I'm going to go small forward, and you and I were kind of in agreement that Jimmy Butler we like a lot, but more just a GPP pay-up option.
Yeah, his price is pretty high. He's at 9,400. It's starting to come down a little bit, but I'm still – I don't know. I don't know if I could pay the price. He's a good play. It's an up-paced matchup. The game should stay close, but it's a lot to ask for from Jimmy Butler. You're going to need, almost a triple-double just for him to hit his value.
Yeah, you are going to need a lot. I mean, for me, at that 9K price tag, especially with all the mid-range options that we'll get into at small forward, you're definitely going to need kind of a 50 burger as far as fantasy points go.
Yeah, and that's a lot to ask for at him. I mean, he could do it. It's Houston. It's going to be a good game, but I'm kind of leaning towards the mid-range plays in this position.
I think so, too. And kind of going down the list here, I mean, Paul George, I like the other Indy options better at their price tags.
Same here. He's too expensive.
But really, I mean, I think Wilson Chandler comes in points per dollar wise the best play of the night with Gallinari already rolled out.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of interest in Chandler. With Gallinari out, I mean, he had a rough game the other night out, but it was Memphis. They're a very tough defensive team. But the game before that against the Lakers where Gallinari, he didn't get hurt that game or something or didn't play as many minutes as he normally does, but he had 50 fantasy points and had shot 20 shots, and I think he shoot probably 15 shots tonight against Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the usage is certainly going to be there against a weak defense. I don't mind him. I like Jay Crowder tonight. I mean, I know the price is coming up from what we usually get him at that 5K price tag, but he's kind of earned it, and he's been pretty consistent. Obviously, the matchup is solid as well.
Yeah, he's always a consistent performer, and his normal consistency gets boosted with Bradley off the floor, so you can chalk him in for at least 30 fantasy points.
Yeah, definitely. And we jump down. I mean, there's two small forwards I'm interested in that Kings game. You got PJ Tucker, and then you got Matt Barnes on the other side. I don't mind them tonight just because, one, they're going to see minutes. If you look at that Suns game, anytime the Suns are on the board, the pace is going to be up, and especially both those defenses that really lack.
Same here. I have interest in both those guys. I prefer Tucker just because he's going to get over 33 minutes in the game, and in a matchup against the Kings without Rudy Gay, it's really a spot where he can perform. But Matt Barnes is a decent complete pump play if you want to go that route.
Yeah, I mean, he's about, 1,000 cheaper, so if you do need that extra 1,000, I don't mind dropping down.
Same here.
So, but outside of that, I mean, those are pretty much the only guys that I'm on.
Same here. CJ Miles is probably going to bring a high ownership tonight just because he's playing against the Nets. I personally don't have a lot of interest in him just because he's very shot dependent. And then I also have a little interest in the Nets small forwards, Bogdanovich and Hollis Jefferson. It's just a toss-up on who's going to get more minutes, though. But this seems like a game where Hollis Jefferson would perform better.
Yeah, and I like him. He just seems to be a more complete guy. I mean, he can kind of go up and get those defensive stats as well. Bogdanovich, not so much.
Yeah, Bogdanovich is a scorer, but Hollis Jefferson is definitely the peripheral producer.
Certainly. Power forward, rather weak. Power forward's been just kind of weak in general of late.
Yeah, this is bad tonight. There's not many guys I have interest in, and the guys I do have interest in, I'm pretty sure everyone else is going to have interest in the same guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're paying up, you like Jabari Parker there. Been rather consistent. I'm not in love with the price tag, but I think I'm kind of forced to use him a little bit more than I like just because of the slate.
Yeah, if Jokic is out, Parker's the highest priced guy at the position, and that's not saying much about the position. It's not a good one, but like I said, if Jokic is out, Parker has the highest upside out of anyone. Maybe Fareed could contend with it.
Yeah, and I think Fareed, we can jump down here. If Jokic is out, Fareed becomes a solid play again.
Yeah, even at his elevator price point, he's still a great value.
Yeah, and only 6K on DK. I feel like he's always been underpriced there kind of throughout this stretch.
Yeah, 6,900 on FanDuel, but I'd still have some interest if Jokic is out.
Yeah, certainly. And Serge Ibaka has been a guy that we've been on the last few days. We've been kind of recommending more tournament, but I don't mind him in cash tonight just because the position's so weak.
Yeah, I don't mind him either in cash. There's just not a lot to love the position. My cash game guy is actually Dirk Nowitzki, though. Portland's one of the worst teams in the league at defending power forwards. He's coming off 2 down games, but every game before that, he's pretty much been around that 25 fantasy point mark, and he does have upside in this easy matchup.
Yeah, I like him as well. I mean, really cheap. He does have good potential, and he's even tournament worthy for me at that price tag because he does have the upside of 30-plus fantasy points. In that same range, I mean, I don't mind Thaddeus Young. We haven't seen a great floor out of him. I mean, he's been about 20 fantasy points, but obviously it's nothing spectacular. But obviously in this matchup, and because, once again, the position's weak, I don't mind using him.
I don't mind him either. Brooklyn turns the ball over to second most in the league. And pretty much the only way Thad Young hits his upside is if he's racking up steals, and this is a game where he can get 4 and 5 steals in this.
Yeah, definitely. And Ryan Anderson's a guy I have interest in tournaments. The minutes have really been there. We've seen, 2 big upside games, but obviously we saw the dud last night. Look at the Bulls. I mean, they've actually been struggling a little bit against power forwards of late, so I don't mind him in tournaments. Yeah,
I don't mind him either, and he's the type of player that could actually beat this Bulls team because they'll have their focus on Harden, leaving Anderson open in the corner on maybe Mirotic or someone like that. And if his shot's falling, he's going to have a great game, but he's a very shot-dependent player. He could get double-digit rebounds, but it's unlikely. But he's a great tournament player in this slate.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, on DraftKings, you do have the luxury of using Matt Barnes. Also you have, Wilson Chandler, who's power forward eligible. So I kind of actually would rather use those guys there.
Same here. And then I have one punt play at its position. Marquise Chris, he's almost minimum price on FanDuel, but he's got over 27 minutes last 2 games, and if he gets that again against this Kings team, he should definitely hit his value.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I like the upside that he brings for his price tag, and obviously, decent matchup there against Sacramento.
Yep.
So, Moving over center, and I don't like a lot of value guys at this position tonight. I just feel like they're all kind of in that similar boat where minutes are really unpredictable. Some of them are foul prone, and I just kind of rather sit in that middle range.
Same here. Honestly, Miles Turner is probably the cheapest I'm going to go. He's got that matchup with Brooklyn that we've been talking about this whole time. The only issue I have with him is his home road splits because he averages 8 more fantasy points at home than he does on the road. But, I mean, it's Brooklyn. He could rack up the blocks. He can rack up the rebounds. He can get a double-double. It's a great spot. It's just my only concern is that home road splits.
And you're kind of the Brook Lopez whisperer, so do you like him? I mean, only 6,500 on DK.
6,500 I have interest, but on FanDuel I really don't. He's just too scoring dependent for me, and he hasn't had double-digit rebounds in, I don't know, his last 20-something games, maybe even more.
Yeah, I think at the he's same price tag as Plumlee and Vucevic. I'd rather go with those guys or Horford for 200 more.
Same here. It's just he's so scoring dependent, and these other guys, Horford, Plumlee, Vucevic, Turner, they all can grab rebounds at a much higher rate than him.
Yeah, definitely. And I like those guys a lot. I mean, Miles Turner only 1,600 on DK, 6,800 for Al Horford on DK. Voos there at 7K. So, you get a nice discount, but I think you're in an agreement, though. Cousins is kind of an easy pay-up option if you want to go that route.
Yeah, after playing, he had a bad game last time out, but I think it's just because he was tired. The whole team was tired. It was like their 6th game in 8 days. They haven't played in 3 days, and he's going to be well-rested. Easy match for him against Phoenix. I wrote him up in the article, so if you want to look at more, you could look at that. But he's far and away the best pay-up option at the position.
Yeah, definitely. Last time out against Phoenix, he didn't do too well. I'm pretty sure he got tossed in that game, actually. He played 24 minutes, so I'm not looking for that to happen again.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't get ejected or, fouls out or something, I have a lot of interest in him tonight.
Yeah, definitely, especially because he's always kind of like 1,500 to 2K cheaper than guys like Harden or Westbrook.
And he brings the same upside as these guys, too. If he could score 40, 50 real points in a game, we've seen him do it. And Phoenix isn't a team, and I don't know how they're going to stop him. So
he's also power forward eligible on DK, so we get that bonus as well.
Yeah, on DraftKings, I'm looking to go with as many point guards as I could fit and as many centers as I could fit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, out of the cheaper guys, if the Milwaukee situation where Greg Monroe is going to sit 25-plus minutes, he's probably the guy I might look at. Other than that, I don't like guys like Chandler, Adams. Clint Capella I have a little interest in on DK because he's cheap and you can roster too, but still a little iffy.
Yeah, I'm iffy on all those guys too. If I had to choose, I'd probably go Clint Capella just because he's the cheapest. I know it's a tough matchup against Chicago, but he's a cheap price, and he's been playing very well lately.
Yeah, definitely. And, obviously Howard had the big night, but 22-9 against that Atlanta front court's not that bad.
Not at all.
So that's it for me. I mean, I don't really have anyone else here at center that I'm really looking at.
I have slight interest in Zubac in a tournament only just because his minutes are unpredictable, but they are coming off a back-to-back, and they only played 11 minutes last night, so he could get back up to the 25-minute mark tonight. It's a toss-up, though.
Yeah, I mean, you're really never gonna know what you're gonna get with him as far as minutes. It could be 26, it could be 11. We just don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Hernan Gomez situation, but a little more risk. It's like a month ago, Hernan Gomez we weren't sure if he was gonna see minutes. Now it's Zubac, so hopefully he could get some big games and start getting those minutes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, good fantasy points per minute player. So if he's out there for 20, you're gonna get your solid production.
Yeah, tournament only though.
So yeah, definitely. Who do you got as far as your highest scorer tonight?
I'm gonna go Cousins. He's just my guy.
Yeah, I like Cousins. I'm gonna be a little bit of a Celtics homer and Isaiah Thomas.
I wish. I hope like I said, I called 50 real points tonight, so I'd love to see that happen.
Yeah, well, if that does happen, then I'll just hand over the pod to you, and you can take it over from now on.
Fine by me, man.
So that's going to wrap things up. Be sure to head on over to DaveFantasyCafe.com. Check out our great tools and content.
Yeah, good luck, everyone.